All right, YouTube, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. It is Saturday, October 25th, and we got 5 NBA games to dive into in today's video like we always do. I'm going to dive into each and every one of these games. I'll give you my prediction on the side. I'll give you my prediction on the total. We'll talk about any other plays like player props that we like within the game as well. But as always, guys, make sure to keep an eye down on the pinned comment of this video. That's where you find all of my final plays so that I'm actually rolling with myself. If that does interest you, it's absolutely free down in the pinned comment. Now, in terms of yesterday, good thing they are free, right? We go 1 and 4. Tough one there. I mean, I feel like to start the NBA season, I know only a handful of days in, but we've gone good day, bad day, good day, bad day. I guess the good news is that means if we follow that trend, we're due for a good day today, but man, oh man, still don't love that. The Magic and the Kings being the two spots here that I really do feel like they let us down. They had their leads. Things were looking good, especially the Magic. They got pumped in the fourth quarter, but prior to that, they were controlling that game. So really, really unfortunate there. We stick on the unfortunate trend here. The ride of the day, we already dropped the womp womp, so you know what, JJ, you get off the hook there. But yes, the ride of the day, Ant over 3.5 threes. That does not come through. I believe he finished with 3 threes, so he lost on the hook. JJ's streak comes to an end. But you know what? Really good job there. We did hit the other one a couple days ago. If you guys don't know what the ride of the day is, it's simple. Just use that hashtag ride of the day or ROTD down in the comments. I jump on board with one person's play each and every day. Give you a shout out in the next video, win or loss. If you do win, we continue to roll and ride with your plays. We throw you on the ride of the day tracker we have in Google Sheets as well. If you do lose, I mean, you still get the shout out, but we're talking about a loss, and I don't think anyone likes that, right? So get those hashtag ride of the days down in the comments. Let's get some dubs down there. Let's go ahead and jump into game number 1, guys. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Let's get rocking here. We got the Magic taking on the Bulls. Magic, we just kind of briefly mentioned, right? They are on a back-to-back here. They lost 111 to 107 yesterday against the Atlanta Hawks and lost the fourth quarter by like, I don't know, 10 plus points. It was a heartbreaker because I did kind of, I might have jinxed it. I was looking at the phone, checking in on the game, and I was like, all right, I think we can chalk this one in the W category. Yeah, don't think that came through, right? So unfortunate there. Now they do play the Bulls, who are, 1-0 on the season. Give them a little bit of credit there. They beat the Detroit Pistons as underdogs. They were at home, now on the road, but they won 115 to 111. So where do we go in this game? I know this is a back-to-back situation, and I get it, but this is a young Orlando team. I still trust them to be able to run the floor if they need to, play good defense if they need to. I like the Magic in a bounce-back spot here. 5.5 points is a little bit much, if you do ask me. I have this game right around 3.5, so a bucket off, but I'm still going to lean in that direction. I do think that there's a lot of playmakers and scorers on this Magic squad. Yesterday was the Franz Wagner game. I could see Banchero having a little bit better of a game today as well. I will talk about a player prop I like in this spot in just a second. But yes, overall, I still do think Orlando is the better team. They're a young team, which is great in the sense of a back-to-back, especially early in the year. Not all that concerned with it. Fun fact, they also covered in 64.3% of their games on back-to-backs last year. Now, that sounds really good. With a rest advantage, Chicago covered on their end in 63.2% of games. So, yes, there's a little bit of give and take there. In terms of where we go from a total perspective, I would say this. If you like the Bulls today, you probably like the over because they're going to be the team that ups the tempo. If you like the Magic like me, you probably end up leaning towards the under. They'll slow things down. The player prop that I like is going to be Wendell Carter Jr. I like his PRA. Right now, it's at 19.5. I also don't mind his points rebounds alone. That's at 18.5. But I do think the PRA has some decent value here. He did hit it in, the last game. Not exactly too far over. It only had 20, so yeah, he hit it by half. We won on the hook. The game before, though, he had 18, right? And he was right there as well. Another bucket, and this thing goes over. He's also going against his old team for all that matters, and 2 out of the last 3 times he's had 20 plus points, rebounds, and assists. He had 2 assists in both those, actually all 3 of his last 3 games against the Bulls, so that's why I want to include assists today. But this is also a Chicago team that does struggle, 1, I would say, on the glass, and 2, down low in the paint, right? So decent enough spot for me to look at Wendell Carter Jr. I do think he's going to continue to get the minutes and everything like that, which is really great for him. He's looked pretty good. I mean, obviously he's not that young or anything like this. He's been on multiple teams, but this may be one of the better years we're seeing out of Wendell Carter Jr. for sure. So definitely a chance for him to be a final play today. Keep an eye on that pinned comment. Next up, we got the Hawks taking on the Thunder. Now, I would say the only good news for Atlanta here is that they are at home because they are the team that played the Magic last night. They're also on a back-to-back. Now they have the Thunder coming in, who are 2-0 on the season. And that's not that big of a number, I don't think. That's 6.5. Now, the Thunder have not covered a game yet, right? 6.5-point favorites against Houston. They go to double OT, win by 1. They were 7.5-point favorites 2 days ago against the Pacers in the championship rematch, and they won by like 6. Very close, but still. This Hawks squad, though, I don't love the idea of them on a back-to-back. Now, I will give them credit. 52% of games last year they covered on back-to-backs, but I just don't see exactly how this goes easy for them. One of the worst defenses in the league, and especially worst defenses at the rim, which is where this Thunder team likes to score, right? In the paint at the rim. So I can't sit here and tell you that there's any angle of me other than, oh, they're at home, right? That I would think the Hawks have any sort of an advantage here. So I am going to lean towards the Thunder in this spot, -6.5. Maybe there's some legs to like an Orlando and Thunder parlay today, something like that, right? In terms of where we go from a total perspective, I don't mind the idea of points being scored in this game, but I would trim the fat a little bit. I think the Thunder can kind of walk through this game and score a lot of points, right? Do we need to rely on the Hawks to score a bunch of points? They are going to shoot in the paint a lot. They've already done that this year, and they did it a decent amount last year, right? Well, guess what? This is the #1 team in basketball, I would say, at defending points in the paint. Certainly a year ago, but even now, I do think that they're still strong down there. So I don't know if the Hawks really contribute to that total going up and over. I'm going to say team total over for the Thunder. A player prop that I'm considering, and it's going to be an under. I don't mind the idea of Dyson Daniels under in points. I also don't mind his over in assists. He's going to get a tough matchup no matter what, right? This is obviously a really good defense, but he shoots 72.3% of his shots in the paint. I just got finished saying that I think this Thunder team is very good against, paint scorers. Just a year ago, 8th in terms of points allowed. Assists, they were 11th, so that's still pretty good. But the reason I lean over in his assist, under in points, is a couple reasons. He's been deferring like crazy so far to start the year. 4 points and 6 points so far. He shot the ball 4 and 7 times, so not even attempting it that many times, right? But he is deferring, right? And he might get a couple easy lucky assists. And for over 3.5, for +114 right now, that's definitely something that's on my radar. So again, I don't think that he's going to have the best of games. I think he's going to have his hands full defending as well. He might get Shea and everything like that. So yeah, I really don't mind the idea of Daniels under in points. Right now you can get that at 11.5. Last 2 games against the Thunder, 7 and 10 points. So that's a spot that I'm considering today. But again, guys, we do want to be, it's a 5-game slate. Hard start to the year, right? We've been back and forth in terms of win-loss. We do want to be pretty damn particular about what we're rolling with. Speaking about being particular, I guess you don't have to be with this, right? Over on Sleeper, there's 2 amazing new user deals going on right now. First and foremost, you get a mystery free square. 0.5 points, 0.5 yards, might be for the NFL, whatever it is, you get a free square, right? But I think arguably the better deal is the free $20 entry that they give you, no deposit needed. You can literally just go sign up for Sleeper. Link down below in the description, as well as the pinned comment. Use code GUYBOSTON, and you're going to get a free $20 entry. That's a free $20 on the ground. You're not going to go pick that up. Check it out, guys. Again, that link will be down below in the description, as well as the pinned comment. I've talked to you guys for years at this point about Sleeper, and I still rock with it, and I still really do like the app. The biggest thing that I like is the multipliers that they have on their more or less sides, right? It doesn't just follow a fixed payout structure like a lot of other apps out there in the industry. Each and every play you throw into your entry ends up changing the odds and the payout of your entry dynamically. It's really, really cool, guys, and they drop so many damn discounts and deals. Yesterday, they had a Kawhi and a Derek White one out of nowhere. Like, they're discounting lines for existing and new users. Go check it out. Again, that link will be down below in the description, as well as the pinned comment. Next up, we got the Sixers taking on the Hornets. I would say both of these squads kind of showed out in night #1 and kind of wowed some people. Now we'll start with Charlotte. They dropped 136, but was that because they went up against the Nets? Or is this young Charlotte team actually going to be a good offense this year? I guess after one game, I'm not ready to make that call. It could very well be because they played the Nets. The Sixers came back and beat this Celtics squad, right? They won the, I want to say they won the fourth quarter by like 15 points or something like that. The Celtics just did not close well, and I mean, we're starting to see, and not that anyone would have disagreed, that Jason Tatum's obviously uber important to that squad. But this is a big number, right? 6.5. I think it's worth considering Charlotte here. That's probably the side I slightly lean towards, just for a couple reasons. I do think that LaMelo will have a decent enough game. And same thing with Brandon Miller. Obviously, they're the two guys you need to play really well are in decent enough matchups. Do you know what I mean? So I think that they can keep it to 6.5. It's probably not where I go as a main spot here. I have a player prop that I like a little bit more than everything, but I'm also going to lean towards an under. I mean, this Hornets squad, again, I'm willing to say that I think it's because they played Brooklyn. They scored a bunch of points. Philadelphia, I would assume, can somewhat make some of those easy shots they're making slow down and everything like that. But I did mention LaMelo, Brandon Miller being in decent enough situations. I think they're going to be able to rain threes today. I like LaMelo for threes. I like Brandon Ingram for threes. But the spot that I'm actually considering is going to be Kelly Oubre. I do like him in a revenge spot against his old squad and Charlotte just a year ago. 42% from the right corner and 43.5% from the left corner. I think that we see Kelly Oubre hit a couple threes from the corner in this one. Last year, he was second on the team in terms of corner threes attempted per game. It was low at like 2, but still, nonetheless, I still think it could be a good enough spot. And if he does want to drive and everything like that, I think it kind of sets up fairly well for him here as well. So I like Kelly Oubre. Right now, his line is at 12.5 for -104. That's going to be something that I strongly consider. Taking a peek at his last 3 games against the Hornets with Tyrese Maxey, I wanted to make that very, very clear. 14, 19, and 22. He almost doubled up his line last time they played. Now, if we want to say with Maxey and with Embiid, right, you could see, okay, there's only one game, and it was last year, about a year ago, actually, and he still had, that was his 22-point game in which he played with both of those guys, right? Now, we can even say, okay, what about without Paul George? None of those games, but last year, without Paul George, he hit the over in 73.3% of games. This is a guy that this season, right, we take a peek at it, he played this season, he didn't hit it in the first game, but he played 33 minutes, right? He shot the ball 33%. I don't think that's all that great. He did have 6 3-point attempts. I think that we have a nice little spot for Kelly Oubre today. Again, for the odds we're getting, it's definitely something that I am considering overall. So Kelly Oubre Jr. over 12.5 points. And that was the play that I said I think I like the most in this game. That is the one that I'm looking at. Memphis taking on the Pacers here. Memphis 2.5-point dogs at home. 233.5 is where the total is. Now, this Memphis squad coming off of a game yesterday to Miami. It was a pretty bad loss. They had a decent win coming back against New Orleans in night number 1. Yesterday, they lost by like 30-something points. Indiana coming off of a tough fought loss against OKC. They ended up losing by 6 points. They battled back in that game, I would say, as well, and went to overtime with the defending champs, right? So this is a spot in which I think the Pacers are the better team. But at the same time, I said it 2 days ago when we broke down the Pacers-Thunder game. I really am hesitant to like this Pacers team whatsoever without Tyrese Haliburton. Like, think about this starting 5. Shepherd, Mathurin, Nesmith, Siakam, and Isaiah Jackson. No more Miles Turner, obviously. No Tyrese Haliburton right now. Like, that is not exactly the team that I like the idea of right now. Ja Morant, KCP, Jalen Wells, Jaren Jackson. Those are some better names on the other side. So I do still lean Pacers, but I'll tell you what, right now, I don't think that I get there as a final play because I do still want to suss out how this team is going to be without Haliburton. Because what we've seen hasn't been all that bad, but it hasn't been all that great either. And if Memphis here at home, in which they had a great cover rate last year, no rest, they had a great cover rate as well, they could still put up a fight even though they are on a back-to-back year. Isolation, Memphis runs a ton of. Makes sense, right, with Ja? Well, this is a pretty poor team in terms of defensive isolation. When it comes to the Pacers. Now, the good news for the Pacers, they run a ton of pick and roll, and I expect them to run even more now without Haliburton. In Memphis, that is one of the soft spots when it comes to them defending. So I do think that the Pacers can operate in that, Siakam getting involved, Ben Shepherd, that type of thing. But again, it's kind of like a wait and see thing more so for me. So hopefully that makes sense. In terms of what we have from a total, I mean, both these teams like to run. This is obviously a very, very high number. Actually, I believe it is 238.5. Let's fix that. Boom, power of editing right there. I could see this one being like a 120, 118 type of a game, which is right in the realm there. I'm going to say over. In terms of where I go player prop, this is a team in which I do think that we're going to see a decent amount of threes kind of come through here for Memphis. I do like the spot for Jalen Wells. I think that that's going to be a nice little look for him. Over to 9.5 points right now is a decent enough look. Now, is this a bad perimeter defense? No, but again, I don't think that they're as good as they were just a year ago. If we look at that Thunder game that they played, just last game, they only allowed 29% to the Thunder, 10 of 35. I do think that, Memphis may be a little bit better at that. So it's kind of like calling the Pacers' bluff on that perimeter defense, because I think the Thunder just shot the ball pretty damn poorly in that game. Never mind, the Pacers forced bad shots. So we'll see how that plays out. I do think that this is going to be a spot in which he does have some volume. He had 14 and then 9 points. We're only asking for 10 here. Last couple times here against this Pacers squad, 13 and 17 points for Jalen Wells. So that's a player prop spot that we can consider as well. All right, we got our last game of the night. Guys, if you made it this far in the video, go ahead and comment 16 down below. You pretty much made it 16 minutes in, and I do thank you so much. So comment 16 if you made it this far. We got the Nuggets taking on the Suns. Now, Denver's coming off of a loss to Golden State. Obviously, a really, really, really good game. Goes to overtime. Golden State pulls it out 137-131. Phoenix coming off of a loss yesterday to the Clippers. They got beat by, was it 26 or 27 points? Now, they beat Sacramento night number 1, so they are 1-1 in the season. It's not like they don't know what winning feels like. But, this is a big number, and I think it's obviously a big number for a reason. I don't love the interior defense of this Suns squad, right? Especially with, Dylan Brooks down there and Adgoro or whatever the hell the guy's name is, Iguodaro. Something like that. I think that Jokic and Aaron Gordon, that 1-2 punch down there, can probably do some damage. Even Cam Johnson, right? Like, I think it's going to be a spot in which the Nuggets do score some points. Now, the total is really high at 234.5, 234.5. Funny enough, right? Boom, cool. It's little things in life, guys. But what I will say is it's a little too high for me, because I do think, to some degree, I don't see the Suns scoring too easily on this Nuggets squad. So it's either going to be an under 234.5, or a potential look at a team total over for the Nuggets. Like, I think the Nuggets are going to be doing most of the scoring. One spot that I would consider player prop wise, and I guess from a side perspective, yeah, I do think the Nuggets are the side to consider here. I think that spread's a little asinine this early in the year, but realistically, I still do think that, it makes sense. But one player prop, and I would say it's kind of like a get right spot, a get back spot. Devin Booker only had 3 assists in that first game. I think you can look at him to get 7 assists. I think he gets 6.5 right now for like minus 140-ish. I don't mind the spot. I mean, that first game he had 3 assists. Yesterday he had 7 assists against the Clippers. Head-to-head against this Nugget squad, he had 7. I believe last time he played, I might have this flip, but 3 and 7 again. I do believe the last time they played, he did have 7. So I kind of like the idea of him being able to go out there and get 7 assists, which he did plenty last year. The problem is he really didn't perform all that tremendously last year on back-to-backs in the assist department. The last 10 back-to-backs, yeah, he averaged 7.6 and 6 out of 10, but if you look at it from a whole season perspective, only 43% of his games, he did cover that in. But I do expect him to have the ball a ton in terms of his usage and everything like that, and that kind of, with him, can breed some assists. But again, I like Aaron Gordon as well. I like Jokic down low. Those are player prop spots that I'd consider as well. And shout out to the comment we got the other day. Someone was like, I hate that you say player prop spots. What else do you want to call it? Like player prop looks? Because it's not a specific player prop that I like. It's the spot. It's the look. It's the situation that I like. So maybe I'm just using the wrong word for whoever's, was crabby about that. But you know what? Player prop spots. It makes sense to me. But guys, that is going to wrap it up for today's show. Hopefully you guys did enjoy. If you did, go ahead, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and we'll catch you guys in the next one, all right? Peace out.